Hello there, we are here with the second semifinal. This is Jägerisk Master Cup. Players are competing to be the best and also for $125 prize pool, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe $100. I just lost track of that. However, it seems that our viewers are getting condom commercials while watching, on Twitch TV. That's unusual.
Well, obviously they are so related. You know, Starcraft 2, you need to protect yourself, and I'm not gonna go anywhere else with that because
Take expand and defense it. This is what Wytra said. So guys, saying that people on the internet don't need condoms, you are wrong. You need to protect yourselves.
exactly. All right, so this is gonna be a Protoss versus Zerg. And we'll see what's going to be going down here. Liquid Snute is spawning as the blue Zerg in the top left-hand side of the map.
That's exactly right. And, after giving that a short glance, we have a nice, small pink Protoss called Kerr. And that's only fitting a condom commercial for a second there, that pink color. But, I don't think that Kerr knows that there are condom commercials flying all around. So what Kerr is going for, he's going for a Forge Fast Expand. There are two ways I know of doing this on Belshir Vestige. You can either go for this very broad space here, or you can push that pylon closer to your natural ramp, and you can go for a wall between your nexus, which will be here, and that just the edge of the ramp.
Yeah, there's pretty much two ways to go about this, and it looks like Kerr is actually going to be going for a Nexus first, or no, he's just saved up so that the Forge goes down, and then right after it, the Nexus will be going down as well. Meanwhile, Spawning Pool first coming in from Liquid Snute, and that probe, if it sticks around too long, is going to have a very, very rude awakening, as Zerglings will be getting there.
Yeah, and this is a nice variation, by the way. So some people criticize, oh, he got late. No, he didn't get late. He got exactly in time. So he places down the Forge, he goes and places down the Nexus. He doesn't lose the travel time of his probe, and that's actually a very smart way of executing it. Especially if you don't need any +1 upgrades extra fast, if you don't intend to go for any cannon rushes. This is the way to do it more effectively.
Yeah, it's all about small timings and perfecting those timings. These players, as they get better and better, they're always finding a little bit more to help them reach that next step. And that next step may be, you know what, I'm not going to move my probe out until 10, 12 seconds later for that additional 10 minerals.
Remember that game with TLO where he went for his third base before spawning pool at 320, I think?
Yeah, I think the timing was 320. Like, TLO was going progressively faster. It was like a 4 minute third base, and then it was like 350, then 345, and then I said, you know what, if he goes third hatchery before spawning pool, that's risky, and then he went for it, and it paid. Actually, right. Did it pay off? I don't remember.
He did defend his third eventually. There was this 8-gate push from Panda Tank, if I'm not mistaken. That was the game we were casting. And he did defend that push, so it was awesome, and he managed to do it. But then anywhere closer, any more economically greedy, it would probably be a hatchery 6 or 6 hatchery. That would be ridiculous.
At some point you're just like, you know what, you have more hatcheries than you have drones. You may need to consider cutting back just a little.
Try to optimize more.
Yeah. Alright, so Liquid Snute taking a play out of TLO's playbook and running Zerglings all around the map, looking for any proxy pylons. You can see the crazy walking path that some of those Zerglings have, looking and making sure that there isn't going to be some sort of backdoor pylon warped in.
And this is what Snute does every single game. We have noticed that even if you could say, oh yeah, in this particular map you don't do proxies too often, but Snute will always check outside the surroundings of his base. He will be very active with the Overlords and the Zerglings, and that way nothing sneaks past him.
Yeah, that's always very important, but I'm actually surprised at the lack of site coverage coming in from Kerr. Kerr only has like maybe 10% of the map revealed, and And this has got to be pretty scary for Kerr. If he moves out, he could run into a swarm of Zerglings all of a sudden. He could run into a swarm of Roaches. He's not quite sure since this is the first game in this series. But Snute is just continuing to play very, very economically greedy. Now already up to 63 drones with 3 more on the way.
Yeah, and the Roach Warren is on its way. We have Lair on its way as well. So do you think he'll go for some nice upgraded Roach aggression?
Well, I think at some point Snute has to attack with Roaches, or that may be the unit of choice. He needs to poke around and figure out what Kerr is doing. No one wants to be surprised, and you can see Kerr already trying to use Phoenixes, or hallucinated Phoenixes, to at least scout his opponent. Doing a great job there, seeing his opponent, you know what, you're on 3 bases, I'm going to be on 3 bases as well. I'm going to have my photon cannons over here. Now the ball's in your court, Snute. Are you going to allow me to run up on 3 bases, or are you going to try to expand to your 4th?
I like what Kerr is doing with the cannons on his 3rd. However, I think the most effective way to play it out is to place a wall, because a wall just takes down time. It takes time to take down a wall. That's what I meant to say. And you know, the cannons behind that wall even add more to that value. But having just cannons supported by one pylon is very much like you know, Arthos's pylon style.
Yeah, I try refraining from saying Arthos's pylon just because it seems just Arthos is so much better than that. But yeah,
he's such a nice guy, by the way.
Yeah, he's such a nice guy, Dan. Oh, but we really need to see some sort of oh my goodness, you're gonna make six photon cannons powered by one pylon?
Why not?
Oh, this is screaming to be destroyed.
I'm a huge fan of Arthos's. I'm just placing 6 cannons on one pylon. But actually, the term Arthos's pylon was invented by Idra. I think Idra meant it as an abuse or something like that. That's what normally you would expect from Idra, but anyway, the term just stuck around. And I think Arthos's used that as well during his casts. So anyway,
alright, so instead of a wall of gateways now, it's gonna be a wall of pylons. So, I don't know what to make of that.
I'm not really sure, but those cannons should be closer, a little bit closer to the Nexus. Now, we have a huge swarm coming by and trying to strike at the heart of the Protoss's base, but you know, how much damage can they deal? I think right now Kerr is just safe and nice on 3 bases, and oh, this assimilator gets saved, nice! So Kerr is all looking good right now, even though we have Snute going for his 4th and 5th base.
Yeah, so very, very strong play, but Snute doing that double expand, and this is where I think, okay, is Snute gonna go mass Mutalisk on 5 base, 10 gas? That means that he can train, I believe it's 12 Mutalisks a minute, and in 3 to 4 minutes he can have 48 Mutalisks in the air. Anything short of High Templars and Archons is not gonna be able to handle that very mobile, very damaging force.
But there are 3 Stargates mass producing Tempest right now. I tried to sneak in a mention of that. He just went for multiple Stargates, and off 3 bases he can easily deal with 3 Tempests at once. In fact, he also goes for Storm and High Templar, and now considering what, you know, Snute's army consists of, I think that Tempest plus High Templar will equal yeah, nice and easy win.
I don't know. I think I need to see this, but now, unless he sees the transitions into Phoenixes, the Mutalisks are going to simply try to run in here. Are we going to see a Psy Storm? We need to see a Psy Storm.
No, don't die on me, yells Kerr. But then, oh, his Tempest just staying alive and dealing a ton of damage to the Mutas, so many of them dead. But we don't have the Storm yet, we don't have High Templars with enough energy. But then we have a plethora of turrets. What is going on with this game?
Yeah, this is a crazy game. Snute having a 70 supply advantage and unable to capitalize. And for some reason, Kerr still going Tempest instead of transitioning into Phoenixes with the Aeon Crystal range upgrade.
Wow. I think I have read about this style. I think it's very annoying, to be honest. But let's see what happens. The Mutas are here, and they will try to take down as much as possible. The cannons go down, but nearly all of them just get killed. And the Mutas are going for the Templar Archives. Will they take them? Yes, they will. And the Templar Archives just fall victim to this. We have mass Tempests right now being produced, and I'm not sure that Snute can do a lot of damage with his early run-bys. I mean, you know, he took down some cannons, but only 2 Zerglings make it up.
Well, at this point, I think Snute is just thinking to himself, you know what? If you kill 2 units for every one of mine, I'm golden, because I'm gonna be expanding to my what is that, 6th and 7th base right now.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are, my friend. But Kerr is just mass-producing cannons again. This is getting even more and more ridiculous right now. But, you know, you need to take advantage of whatever you have at hand. And to be honest, this would call for some Vipers. But anyway, let's see what happens. We have so many mutas of Liquid Snute. The additional cannons are just finishing. And oh! All of them getting destroyed. Why now? Why at the point where they have been nearly finished, and Kerr is going to lose this base, and Snute, Snute has to be careful. A huge storm going straight in between the mutas, but they just escape, and they will of course regenerate. They have this sick regeneration.
Yeah, that sick regeneration, I believe, is 1 hit point a second, so before, when Mutalisks were engaging in a fight, they would just take a lot of damage, and then you'd have a whole bunch of red Mutalisks.
Yeah.
Now, wait 2 minutes, and they're good as new. They heal themselves faster than you can microwave a chicken, as the Mutalisks are now moving back in.
I would like to see. I would like to see you microwave a chicken. But have you been talking about black chicken? Anyway, we have the mutas flying in now. The Tempest try to deal some damage, but are unable to. There is just too many mutas. They are swarming the sky with their black winged shadows with the trumpets on the end, and they take down the Stargates. That's enough, I think, to say that this is going to be a GG.
Yeah, the Mutalisks have reached critical mass already. The Tempests do not do any splash damage. The Mutalisks are faster than anything else that can be on the field. And you can see that long range is doing something, but all Snute needs to do is take out the fleet beacon. Wow, where did those come from?
I don't know where they have been. Was he trying to harass with them? I'm not really sure. They have been just all recalled to the main. It was amazing, but is it enough? Snute just taking a lot. You know, he's just doing damage left and right. He doesn't even need to worry about it. And the damage is not enough against mutas. Against Broodlords, it would work because it has bonus massive damage. But against mutas, sorry, whatever you do, I will just bounce the damage off. I have so many mutas right now.
Yeah, you can take a look at those Mutalisks. The Mutalisks, that little chain glaive, just doing a lot of damage to all the buildings. The photon cannons. Oh, I believe there's only 2 pylons powering there. There's 1 pylon powering, and there's a whole bunch of useless paperweights sitting on the ground, not even bothering to attack the Mutalisks now.
And Snute going for even more mutas. This game is getting more crazy as we speak. We have still 8 Tempests on the field, but they are not enough to deal with this muta army. They score some nice hits, but you know, they don't shoot too often. They don't have splash damage. The mutas will just rip through that, although, we have high tempers, and even more storms. The mutas are going after high tempers. Snute, have you been too ballsy with this? And Snute right now on the red health and yellow health with a ton of mutas has lost at least half of their numbers. Can he maintain this?
Alright, I think he can. He has 2,000 gas and 2,000 minerals, and there's the GG. And at that point, I think Kerr, even if he transitioned into Phoenixes, would have been in trouble, because in order to stop 36, 40 Mutalisks, you need at least 20 Phoenixes, and once the Mutalisks are dead, Snute can instantly transition into, like, okay, you know what, I guess I'll go Ultralisk now. And he's running on 14 gas. There's not much you can do to really stop that.
What you gonna do? What you gonna do when we come for you? That's the only thing we can say about this game. And I think for those of you who have been slightly irritated by the style of play on the ladder that has been persistent recently, the Tempest plus cannons camping on it, this is what you can do. Just expand like crazy with cannons. That's very unlikely he's going to march them and try to attack you.
Yeah, like I'm trying to replay. Could you imagine what would have happened if the Tempest still had splash damage like they showed back at MLG Anaheim 2012?
Yeah.
How those Tempests would have just torn apart the Mutalisks in a matter of seconds.
Yes, but you know, Tempests have just lost their splash damage, and that makes me so sad as a Protoss, but I think that was the right thing to do. Anyway, there was a recent blue post about the balance in the game, because people have been asking, okay, now the game is out, what do you think will change in the next month? And Blizzard said, well, probably nothing. We just want to sit back and see how the game progresses. We really like the early game aggression. This is what we have been aiming for with Heart of the Swarm. We really like the different options and styles of play. We don't want to nerf anything right now. We just want to know how the players manage to deal with that.
Yeah, I think the first thing that's going to be on the chopping block is maybe an increase in the cooldown on the Ignite Afterburners on the Metavacs. I'm a Terran player. I love it, but it almost feels like they afterburn more than they don't, because it's on a 20-second cooldown, but it gives it an 8-second boost. So there's only 12 seconds when it's not moving ridiculously fast.
Exactly. So anyway, guys, a short reminder too that after this stream, so after we're done with the finals, there is going to be a Heart of the Swarm giveaway. So if you stay until the end of the stream, you get a chance of winning your Heart of the Swarm copy if you don't have it yet. If you have it, then you can just give it to your friends, your family, your girlfriend, your parents, whatever you prefer. So anyway, we carry on. We can already hear the beeping of the Starcraft 2 heart. And let's see how this game progresses. Is Kerr going to go for the same crazy style, or is he going to surprise us with something different? Anyway, I think Snute has just chopped through the whole tournament like crazy, and there was nothing that could stop him.
Exactly. So Snute, perhaps one of the most recognizable names in the tournament this time around, as Snute is spawning as the blue Zerg over here in the bottom right-hand side of the map. Meanwhile,
in the meanwhile, we have this ballsy guy spawning as very innocent pink Protoss. His name is Kerr.
Alright, so Protoss versus Zerg once more, and I think Snute was just having a bit of fun in the previous game. I don't think a lot of players really expect to get up on 7 base, 14 gas. I think 14 gas is close to 1600 gas a minute. And at that point, you can train more Mutalisks. You can build Mutalisks faster than Kerr can destroy them, even when sacrificing them to Photon Cannons and Tempest.
You can do pretty much whatever you like. So how do you think this game is going to progress? We see Kerr going for this pylon now. In Heart of the Swarm, this doesn't necessarily mean Forge Fast expand, and I think with time we'll see even more gateway openings, trying to rush into that mothership core to defend the natural, but also some nice free base plays have emerged from Heart of the Swarm.
Yeah, and I think Kerr, he doesn't want to risk or try anything new at this point. He doesn't want to figure or try to invent a strategy on the fly. We're most likely going to see the Forge Fast expansion, Forge, followed by that Nexus. Meanwhile, Snute really likes expanding, so I'm expecting him to place down his hatchery sometime around, I would guess, the 2-minute 45 to 3-minute mark, and then his third base at the 3-minute 50-second to 4-minute mark, as that is the typical openings for economic Zerg as of late.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And Kerr goes for a Forge. So I was kind of hoping to see a Nexus first game, but against player like Snute, you just don't want to risk that. And anyway, Snute just skips that probe. He says, hey, Pete the probe, I'm Danny the drone, but I don't really give a damn about your pylon, so I'm going to take the third without you noticing. But what's that? Snute is just backing away. Oh, this is so nice. But why did he back away with that?
A little bit of a head fake there. You can see that Kerr pulled away with the probe to see if the new base was going to be established. Snute then sent a drone down to his natural and was like, you know what? Now that you're gone, I'm going to go ahead and grow up and be a hatchery and make larvae, and there's nothing you can do about it. So probe, get out of here.
Yeah, get lost. We don't want you here, we don't like you. Oh no! And Pete the Probe has to run away. Where did the Pete the Probe come from?
Actually, well, for me it was Peppy the Probe.
Peppy.
It is what I called him. It was Stevie the SCV, Peppy the Probe, and Daisy the Drone for my names, because players like in Wings of Liberty there wasn't that much aggression early on, so like you tried to make the game more exciting by saying, oh, is Daisy gonna make it, and somehow by adding a name to it, you kind of cheered for it a little bit more, and it made a little early game antics with the probe versus an SCV trying to build a barracks a little bit more fun.
Did you hear to my and Jack Attack's commentary where we came up with Zacharias the Zealot?
Yeah, Zacharias the Zealot. I was listening to that.
Yeah, and also we have Marvin the Marine. So I think I picked that up from you. I mean, I did not do it consciously. I did not think, oh, I'm going to rip something off Crota right now. I'm going to be more awesome. I just think I came up with the name Marvin and thought it's going to be really cool. So thank you for influencing my brainwaves.
Oh, no problem. It's what good casters do. We build off each other, we get better, and we make it all more entertaining just so that we can be flamed on Reddit one day.
Yeah, that's the ultimate dream. Once you get a flame thread on Reddit, then you can sit back and enjoy, have a glass of whiskey and say, oh my god, I have just made the top. Yeah, yes. I made it. I've made it to the top.
You know you're not a professional caster, like, oh, how good is he? He's so good, people flame him on Reddit. Wow, he must be really good.
That's a lot. I would like that someday. I'm quite sure people will flame me a lot once I make it to the top, but before that, you can just enjoy the nice and friendly atmosphere that you have here on our chat.
Oh, I'm taking a look at this, and I think I know what Kerr is going to try to do. He's going for a 2-base all-in with Blink Stalkers and Mothership Core, but is he going to be able to get a force field on the ramp is going to be the key question to try to take out the main. If he can do that, then that will be everything he needs, as he's already setting up a proxy pylon.
That's not what he's going for. He's going for a Dark Shrine. So
what?
I have been confused by this once too. There was a show match that Kerr was playing, and I said, yeah, I know this build. Yeah, boss mode turned on because this is the build from Wings of Liberty with Blink Stalkers with +2. No, he goes for Dark Shrine, and after that, I'm not sure if it was Kerr, but he went for Charge Lot Archon-based army. But anyway.
Yeah, that's a very good transition. You can see that the Zealots are just going after the Queens. Now one Queen goes down, a second Queen might get taken down. The drones are trying to protect the Queen there. And no, the Zealots are like, you know what? I don't need to play this game. I'll just go after the hatchery. What are you going to do about it? Queen, you're throwing darts at me. Yeah, whatever.
There are so many Zealots, and we already have the Dark Shrine nearly finished. And Snute losing his third. This is not where he wanted to be. There are some roaches, but with so many Zealots, they just don't give a damn. They can just run in. We don't mind. We are many. We are the swarm. Hey, you stole our line. I don't mind that.
Alright, so here we go. The Zealots perhaps should be going after the Spore Crawler. That'd be a very, very easy target, as the Dark Templars are much more effective when they're not spotted. Roach is now making their way in as well. Dark Templars are warping in behind. There are 4. Are they going to make it inside the main base? That is the key question. We are at tier 2. And the Dark Templars are spotted, and Kerr is forced to retreat, as Snute has a 40 supply advantage.
So the reason behind the Zealots was just to snipe all Spore Crawlers and to get Snute rid of his detection. Now, having so many Dark Templars still gives you a nice edge and advantage, because you can just be annoying all around the map, and the Zerg will need to carry detection with him wherever he goes. But and the Roach is protecting the Queen. Yes, they managed. God save the Queen. No, Roach saved the Queen, and they did.
The Dark Templar now backing away. We are going to be seeing an Overlord now get shot down here by sentries, and this is looking a bit troublesome for Kerr. Kerr is in a situation where he invested a lot in an all-in, or not an all-in attack, but he invested a lot in that attack, and even though he did snipe down the hatchery, he didn't do enough damage, and he sacrificed a lot of Zealots in the meantime. Now Snute has a large mineral army, large gas army, and he can almost he's controlling the pace of the game.
And by the way, I just wanted to mention that Kerr is very creative with his build orders, and this is why I really enjoy watching the games of this player.
Yeah, so what is Kerr gonna do? Oh, Kerr is now coming in with a Dark Templar going straight after drones. It looks like he got 3 drone kills. Not quite the trade he was looking for, but still at this point, if you can deal damage, why not?
Yeah, so, you know, he already has the Dark Templar, so he has to use them somehow. Now there is this one just clinging to his back right now. Oh, my back hurts so bad. I only have shields left, and he goes back home. That poor old man. But yeah, it seems Snute will be wanting to take his 4th and 5th base at the same time. It seems he's just doing scouting and making sure. And oh yes, we have waited for this so long. We have the Swarm Hosts.
Alright, Swarm Host with Enduring Locust. Such an effective unit. Enduring Locust, if you guys don't know Swarm Hosts, they're essentially a burrowing siege unit that is not named Lurker. The Swarm Hosts have produced these locusts, and the locusts have a time life of 25 seconds. Now the locusts also can move and attack, and essentially, if you combine it all, the Swarm Hosts almost have a range close to, like, I think 40 in terms of dealing damage. It is really devastating, and on top of that, they are burrowed, so they are difficult to take out.
And you need sustainable splash damage in order to be able to deal with them, because without sustainable splash damage that's significant enough to deal with all the locusts, locusts, then it is so hard to defend against them. You will just keep trading units for free because the little locusts don't cost anything, and we will be able to see that right now. I think one Archon may get severely damaged, and it may fall the next battle. So as you can see, the Swarm Host just doing and they have a nice swarm of locusts.
And also, this is buying a lot of time for Snute. Snute pretty much goes, you know what, I need to buy time. And Kerr is thinking to himself, I need to bring an observer, otherwise there's no way I can really deal with these locusts. It's just going to be an endless wave of locusts. It doesn't stop. And now what is this? A whole bunch of spine crawlers being added as well. Snute with 13 locusts on the field, or Swarm Hosts on the field.
Oh, and now the engagement, now the locusts are on the Archons, and 2 Archons go down, some sentries get damaged. Oh my god, this is so bad. We need to remember these are only 3 units, and Kerr realizes, holy smokes, I don't have enough DPS to deal with this.
Yeah, Locusts, if you didn't realize how good they are, they attack faster than a Marine, and they deal double the damage of a Marine. Yeah. So that is how strong they are, as double observers now making their way over. It looks as though the Roaches are going to be doing a pressure on the front door. Is it going to be enough? As Locusts now making their way over to the 4th base, which has just been cleaned up by the Archons.
When another Archon goes down, you don't want to be using Archons, the most precious unit in your army. And now the Roach run by here at the natural. Now Kerr doesn't have anything to deal with this. Not a single sentry to put down a force field just to buy a couple seconds of life. No, I'm sorry, my friend. And Kerr, it seems he accepted this path and he just goes for a base trade.
Alright, base trade, not very good when you are down in bases. Meanwhile, Dark Templar is able to snipe down the main hatchery inside the main base, so it is looking like an even base trade now. As the 3rd base gets taken down, it is now 2 bases to 1 in favor of Kerr somehow.
Wow, I'm not even sure how he did that, but it was awesome. I was wondering, where did that War Prism go? But now Kerr has a different worry on his head. He doesn't have a mothership core. With that, he would just be able to win the base trade by recalling back to his base. Without the mothership core, well, sorry, you're just losing buildings while your army just tries to make their way across the map, and you will lose some zealots before you get to the engagement and all of that. So it doesn't look good for Kerr. The base trade was looking awesome, but eventually it's probably not very effective for Kerr at all.
Yeah, Snute has a much larger army. Snute at this time goes, you know what? I can just build with whatever I have right now. I can clean you up. It looks as though the main Nexus has been taken down. Apparently, it's a bad day to be a main building in StarCraft, as almost every Nexus and hatchery has been destroyed at least once, as all the buildings are now being rebuilt.
And oh, even casting this, this is the Corrupt spell, I think?
Yeah, it's the Contaminate. Corrupt is from Corruptors.
Sorry. Yeah, but yeah. Do you know that originally in the beta of Wings of Liberty that was on the Corruptors?
Yeah, it was originally on the Corruptors. Originally, the Overseer actually had Infested Terran.
Yes.
And it became really, really bad because Overseers don't cost supply, and players were able to mass up like 400 Overseers and
Yes,
just drop
exactly.
Infested Terran
Exactly.
throughout the entire game. And you're like, I can't do anything to stop this. Anyways, back to this game. Swarmhost now knocking on the front door. It looks like they will be able to get through in a single file line. Apparently, the Locusts are going to school. There's a fire drill, and they're all trying to get up that ramp.
Yeah, and up that ramp, only the death awaits, but you know, Snute does a very nice trick right now. He makes a constant wave of locusts. You need to burrow and burrow and just make sure that they keep spawning in turns, so this is a relentless wave. It's not wave after wave, it is just one big wave. And it seems that big wave is just taking down the remains of Kerr, and I'm sorry to say that, but this is starting to look more and more like a GG.
Yeah, you know what? This is definitely going to be a GG here. You can see Void Rays now being trained, but it's going to be too little, too late. Zealots trying to make their way in, not going to be able to do so. The Warp Prism is asking for volunteers to warp in on top of all these locusts.
No,
I don't think there's any more takers.
Why me? Don't pick me. And Snute takes the game, takes the series 2-0 and goes straight to the finals. Now let's see how tough he is and what stuff he's made of when he faces Turek.
Could you imagine being that zealot? They're like, okay, we're gonna need you to warp into the battlefield. All right, how are the conditions? Well, we don't have an observer there, but last time we checked, we think there's 24 swarm hosts right underneath you.
Go on.
Excuse me? Yeah, we think it's 24 swarm hosts.
Okay.
Okay, well, according to lore, as soon as I die, I'm gonna end up back here, so I'll see you guys in 5 seconds.
Make it 4. Hey, yeah, there were 24.
Alright, so now it is gonna be Liquid Snute versus Turek in the finals, a TVZ, and people asking when will be giveaways. Giveaways are once again after the grand finals. You know, not too bad of a proposition for you guys. You guys get to watch some great Starcraft from some great players, and then you get some free stuff.
And then you can go and play and try to do the same and realize, oh my god, I suck at this game and I want to be better, because this is what Starcraft makes you. Anyway, we'll go into a short recess around 3 to 5 minutes just to get something to drink and catch a bio break if possible, and we'll be back with the grand final. That's going to be a best of 3 between Turek and Snute.